the offensive arms race spiraling out of control, with the arms control effort stalled, the president began to consider a radical shift in America's traditional nuclear strategy.
Our only purpose is to search for ways to reduce the danger of nuclear war. My fellow Americans, tonight we're launching an effort which holds the promise of changing the course of human history.
To move away from our reliance on mutual assured destruction, the president would consider a long discounted strategy. A defensive system against nuclear attack.
And I think the logical consequence would be that we would have two armed camps, armed with shields primarily, and not with swords. And I think shields are just very much less dangerous than swords.
Nationwide defensive systems were outlawed by treaty in 1972. They were considered destabilizing, likely to set off an increase in offensive and defensive weapons, increasing the chances of war. But the cause of defensive weapons was never abandoned by a small group of scientists, congressional and military leaders. They believed defensive weapons could recapture American supremacy, would reduce the need for arms control.
I had wished for a defense for a long time. But in the last few years, having real hope that it will work, I argued for it much more vigorously.
Edward Teller, father of the H-bomb, has tirelessly campaigned for new weapon systems. At a private meeting with the president, Teller spoke of advanced laser technology, technology he believed could be used to build defensive weapons. Now Teller found a president who shared his strategic views and his faith in American weapon technology.
The Star Wars program was the result of a very small group of advisors with special access, selling pet ideas under unusual circumstances directly to the president.
In March of 1983, without consulting the broad scientific or defense community, Ronald Reagan launched Star Wars.
I call upon the scientific community, those who gave us nuclear weapons, to turn their great talents now to the cause of mankind and world peace, to give us the means of rendering these nuclear weapons impotent and obsolete.
The president's call for a defense system would prove to be one of the most controversial decisions of the arms race. The president's proposal was startling: to move beyond the suicidal terms of mutual assured destruction by erecting a defensive fortress in space. Many Americans, weary of living in the shadow of possible nuclear attack, responded to the idea. But others fear Star Wars is an unworkable and dangerous delusion, that while the proposal seems visionary, it repeats a 40-year pattern that has entrapped every president, liberal and conservative. Failing to break through the deepest political tensions propelling the arms race, each has sought a technological deliverance from a threat created by earlier technologies, has sought security in new scientific advantage. Here, an artist's projection of the president's vision.
Banning into space, a layered defense to protect the country from nuclear devastation. U.S. spy satellites would watch the world below, detect Soviet missiles blasting off, compute the position and speed of each missile, alert battle stations in space, on Earth. The first response: space-based kinetic energy weapons fire high-speed projectiles from hypervelocity guns, intercepting enemy missiles as they are boosted through the atmosphere. Popped up into space, Earth-based nuclear-powered X-ray lasers fire their radioactive rays. Attack rays from land-based excimer lasers are redirected by huge mirrors orbiting in space. Chemical lasers fire beams that burn through the shell of the onrushing missile. Particle beam weapons with pulsing rays join the attack. Still over the atmosphere, the missile bus ejects its cargo, multiple nuclear warheads. As the remaining Soviet missiles now arc towards the U.S., ground-based projectiles are volleyed into space. Their giant steel ribs shatter the enemy weapons. The final minute. The surviving warheads enter the atmosphere above the United States, are attacked by laser-equipped planes. Earth-based lasers and ABM rockets eliminate the last warheads.
The administration's original claim for the Strategic Defense Initiative was that it would be a perfect defense.
The president's